Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we're going to be talking about a two-part documentary called "How Music Got Free." This is now airing on Paramount Plus, and it was co-produced by Eminem, which is very interesting, seeing as he was one of the people that was really affected by this. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, "How Music Got Free" is a documentary that offers a compelling deep dive into the tumultuous '90s internet piracy scene and its clash with the music industry. And that resulted into all this stuff that we're gonna kind of talk about. Now, I'm not gonna go in depth as to the documentary. I actually want you to go watch it, and I'm gonna tell you some of the things that I enjoyed, some of the things that I didn't. Especially as somebody that was growing up in that era, like that was peak me. Like a lot of those things that people were talking about, I was experiencing at the same time. I think it really changed the music industry for the I don't know if it's for the better. I'm not an artist, so I can't really tell you. At least as a consumer, as someone that doesn't really like music is not part of like my main everyday life. Like I enjoy music, but even then, like I'm still kind of stuck in my old era. So yeah, but let's go through some of these things. Like I mentioned, this was broken up into around two 45-minute episodes, but I think that was actually really nice. I watched part of it yesterday and then part of it today. So it was actually nice to have that little break. There's a very good delineation of like when things happen. Um, we get introduced to a few characters, and we'll talk about that. So, some of the things I really enjoyed. There's a lot of original footage. The documentary it boasts rare and authentic footage from pioneers of the peer-to-peer file sharing, providing a raw and genuine look into the origins of music piracy. So they really dive deep into that. I think also it explores the motivations and philosophy of this movement as opposed to just calling it a rebellion or a crime or whatever it could be. Like it acknowledges that there was a purpose behind all this. It excels in unpacking all the motivations of these early air file sharing innovators, giving a nuanced understanding of why they were doing that and the culture at the time as well. I think it also offers a balanced perspective by including interviews with numerous artists and industry professionals. The documentary avoids being one-sided, so we get to hear from both the people that were doing the file sharing, the people that were in the music industry at the time, artists, and then all the people kind of behind everything that happened. So this balanced approach offers a comprehensive era of a view of the era, highlighting the motivations and concerns of both the people pirating the music and the music industry, consumers, and all that. They also spotlight the Recording Industry Association of America and their role and their response upon the piracy crisis at the time. And of course, they explore the impact on the industry, which convincingly portrays and the dramatic changes wrought by the widespread of file sharing, illustrating how it reshaped the music industry and influenced the modern content consumption on the internet on our devices. So, yeah, I think it was really cool to see kind of that timeline evolve. They went into details, especially for the layman. Like if you're somebody that's never really gone into this, it explores like how CDs blew up, like the CDs itself, how that was a big industry and a big moneymaker for the music industry. It also explores how the MP3s came about, like how those files even were invented and all that. And then the origins of these P2P services. We hear a lot about Napster, we hear a lot about Kazaa, like all those services from back then. Um, I think the documentary sometimes stays a little bit too long on a few things, so there's some pacing issues. While some of the things could have been explored a little bit more. So maybe I do think overall, if this had been like another episode where we dove a little bit more into the lives of these people, it would have been interesting. Um, some things can get a little complex, especially for the layman. But as somebody that was there at the time, like the jargon was not over technical for me. But if you're watching this as just a casual viewer, or maybe even a younger viewer that doesn't really know much about that, I think some of the jargon used could have been a bit limiting, but I don't think it's too big of an issue. And also, it really only focused on the American music industry as opposed to a global view, right? Everybody that we talked to an interview, or everybody they talked to and interviewed, they were really from the U.S. It was a very specific moment in time, moment in place as well. So, and maybe that was just a deliberate choice. I just thought it was interesting how that happened. So overall, I like that we have Method Man, who was the narrator throughout the full thing, which is great. I think he's a great narrator. I actually really enjoy that. You know, and just kind of like the timeline of everything really explains and dives into all these things, the technological impact, how we had companies like Napster, and then maybe even later Apple with the iPod. It also explores a little bit of the socioeconomic and racial disparity at the time as well. A big part of the interviews come from hip hop artists from the time, because I think that's with the music that was really hot at the time. Obviously, this is also being produced by Eminem, so it would make sense that that would be a little bit more of what they highlight on. But oh, I mean, it affected the industry as a whole. But I think in the late '90s, early aughts, like hip hop was one of the largest parts of the music that was really kind of blowing up at the time, and it took a whole lot of the piracy really affected how that was happening. Overall, I really enjoyed the documentary. I highly, highly recommend it if you have Paramount Plus or if you have access to a Paramount Plus account. You know, like I said, it's under 2 hours overall, and I think if you, especially if you grew up in that era, if you're a Gen Xer, millennial, maybe even early Gen Zer or a late Gen Zer, I guess early, you still like all that stuff probably affected your life very like you kind of feel like you were there at the time. You were seeing all those things happening live. It's just kind of interesting to see it all talked about at once. So if you have checked out this documentary, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. We have reviews for other documentaries, including Jim Henson's Idea Man that just came out on Disney Plus. I also watch Movie Pass Movie Crash. So I'm watching a few more documentaries, especially about things that I find interesting. Like those three topics are right up there with like, the things that I really enjoy. So, but if there's anything else you think I should check out, let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. You can support us multiple ways on the channel. We have a Ko-fi link in the description. You can join our Patreon. You can also be a member of this channel, and all that stuff. But even just leaving a like and a comment really, really helps. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.